Hello everyone, welcome to the Web3 Education and Investment. This is Dr. Kao. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the white paper of Polkadot. And so we're going to start a series of white paper reading. And why I want to do that, some of you may ask. And so I just don't want to read this white paper again. So it's more than 20 pages and very time consuming. However, I feel this is very useful and helpful. So I hope I can just summarize those important concept and findings in my video. So in the future we can just refer to the video. And so let's just start the white paper of Polkadot. And so first of all, who wrote that? And so it's by Dr. Gavin Wood. Who is Dr. Gavin Wood? From the picture, I can guess he's a computer scientist. Maybe just from his dresses, right? Just a t-shirt. I can also see my kind of a t-shirt, my dress. So it's a computer scientist, and he used to work in Microsoft as a research scientist, and then later on he joined the Ethereum. So probably a lot of you heard about Ethereum. So he's a co-founder of Ethereum. And so he started this Polkadot after he leave Ethereum. But of course, all the endings are just the beginning. And then now let's just talk about the beginning part of his Polkadot project. And so basically the blockchain will start from there, like the blockchain of Ethereum, for example, right? They have a lot of nodes around the world. And the blockchain technology itself is basically you have a lot of blocks and you connect those blocks to keep track of those those data, right? And so there's a problem, like you have to, each of the node, you have to keep the copy of all the data. Otherwise, you can change the block by yourself, for example, right? If you don't have all the information, you can easily just change your own copy. So there will be a lot of issues of this blockchain technology. So Dr. Wood, he summarized that. So he summarized the main issue of that blockchain. It's 5 of them: scalability, isolability, developability, governance, and applicability. So the first two actually is 2 key points. Like he mentioned, the Polkadot is going to solve. And then the rest of them, he didn't mention that in the white paper, but I think he still did a very good job actually. And so scalability is a term to describe your blockchain, how you can like scalable. So basically, if you consider you have a lot of applications, the resource you are going to use, how many transactions you are going to process in your blockchain, right? So just consider, like, if I want to make a payment, how many transactions, if everyone use a blockchain, can you process hundreds of transactions per second, or thousands of them, or millions, right? So that's one thing. And the second one is isolability. Is basically talk about different applications. Are they going to influence each other? So if you have one application and then you use a lot of resource, will you influence the other application? Like other applications, they don't get enough resource then? The third one is about like whether it's a user friendly for the developers, right? Is your tool provide all the useful like API, so the developers can work on that. So overall, those blockchains, I think, is a word for the developers or the computer scientists. They should like it actually. And then the governance basically tells how your system will upgrade, whether it's decentralized, whether everyone can get involved. And the applicability tells whether your blockchain has a real application. So now let's talk about some previous work described in his white paper. So the first one is Ethereum. So basically, he's the CTO of Ethereum. So of course, he knows the problem of Ethereum. Ethereum tried to solve the scalability by the technique called sharding. So sharding here, like you can take a look at this picture. So this is a picture I showed you before. So let's just consider like you have a lot of transactions in your blockchain, and you want to make your system bigger. You want to process more transactions. So one idea is instead of all the nodes, they are going to sync and process each of the transaction, right? You can divide your system into several subsystems and then let them process in parallel. So for example, like there could be a lot of ideas actually. So the sharding concept, one idea could be, okay, I have a transaction and I have different type of transactions. Like some of them they use to validate the block, some of them they use to really like do the trading or all of those token transactions. So actually those transactions they didn't overlap, so they didn't need to talk to each other, right? But if you don't use sharding, like all the nodes, they have to process all of those transactions and they have to update their information. So those syncing will take a long time. You can imagine. Now if you use sharding, you will just separate them. Like one type of node maybe just process the validation transaction, and another type of node will process those token transactions. So you get different type of data, and then you can have different nodes, and they will process those transactions differently or at the same time, right? So that's a general idea of the sharding. So there will be some other like work like Chem fibers. They first proposed a single relay chain and multiple homogeneous chain. So I think this is kind of similar to the Polkadot idea they later on propose. And there will be some competitors described in the white paper. So I wish I read the white paper long time ago. So the first one is a Factum. I also put the chart of the price here. So if I read the white paper, I probably would check this one. And another concept is called sidechains. Mentioned in the white paper. So the sidechain, it's a system. You can actually address the extensibility rather than the scalability. So the general idea is your main chain, for example, you have a lot of transactions and it's really difficult to have all the functions. For example, someday there will be a new NFT project coming up, and then your main chain you cannot handle that. Let's just take that as an example. Then you can create a side chain, and then hope for all the NFT transaction, you will send it to the side chain, and let the side chain process that and come back to the main chain. So that's the extensibility. So basically you extend your system to have more function. But it's not a scalability because your system is not bigger. You can still process the same amount of transactions per second, right? You didn't make your system bigger. And then there will be some other competitor. So this is another one. I wish I read the white paper a long time ago. So if I read that, I probably would check the Cosmos. So Cosmos, they have their token 2019, and I think that's a time the Polkadot actually released a white paper. And then you can see the price. So the Cosmos is kind of interesting. It's a multiple chains. So it's different than the Polkadot. So multiple chains, that means the Cosmos can actually do the cross chain. It can handle the assets from different chains. And in the white paper, they describe that. In the future, I probably need to talk about the Cosmos white paper. So another one is Casper. Casper is an Ethereum Foundation-centered project. So I also put the price here. I don't know what happens about this project. It's basically not doing well. So in summary, like the Polkadot, in the white paper, they said it's a scalable heterogeneous multiple chain. So excuse me. This is a key point, like scalable. So that means the Polkadot can actually solve the scalability problem. And then heterogeneous multiple chain. So the Polkadot is not cross chain. It's still like one chain, but it's kind of weird, but it's just a one like a main chain. It's just like Ethereum has a main chain. It's called the relay chain, and then on top of that, you can have multiple chains. So that's a Polkadot, and it could be considered as a set of independent chains. So this is very important. So this sentence I put it here. It's from the white paper, but I think it's very important. So it basically says the Polkadot itself, it can compete with Ethereum Classic, and Bitcoin, all kinds of chains. So all kinds of chains, you can add it to the Polkadot. So that's how powerful of this Polkadot. I really like it. And there will be another like key points. Like they said it's a pooled security and trust-free interchain transactability. So the Polkadot, it can handle all of those security issue. So you could imagine like a Polkadot could be just a very big, like a very big city, let's say. All the block other chain, like they could be a very small town, like you can add it to the city. And then this Polkadot itself will handle the security problem. So all of those small towns, instead of like you have to handle the securities, you will just give it to the Polkadot. They have their security guy will handle all of the issue. And then another good thing is all of the chains in the Polkadot city, they can talk to each other. So that's a second point. Like they can talk to each other very easily. So that's a summary of the Polkadot. So the philosophy of the design, they have 4 points: minimal, simple, general, robust. So when they design the Polkadot, they try to make it simple, try to make it general. So it's kind of a protocol, design the framework for the other chain. You can add it to the framework. I think that probably will make sense, and then they will handle all of those securities for the other chains. So this is kind of the important picture for us to understand the Polkadot. There are different like roles. It's the connectors, fisherman, nominator. So the connectors is going to connect all of those information, and then they will send it to the validator. So validator would be a group of the nodes that's going to validate those data. Those validators can be nominated by the nominator. So nominator is going to nominate those validator. And then there will be the issue, like if you know who is the validator, then you can attack the system. You will say, okay, I'm going to attack this node. I know this is a validator. But the smart part of the Polkadot is you actually don't know. It's kind of decentralized. They have a lot of validators, and then if you want to attack, you have to attack all of the validators. It's not just one computer. It's just thousands of computers. And then it's still like there would be the issue, like what happened if I'm one of the validators, and let's say, and then I try to hack the system. So I would try to just get some of the data from the connector, and then I would just try to change that. Will that be an issue? There would be a role called fisherman. So fisherman is a node that's going to randomly check those validators, and if they find out I'm actually a bad people, they are going to report that, and then the cool thing is they are going to get reward by reporting those bad behavior. So then like some people can be the fishermen. They will just check those validators. So the validators, they cannot do something bad. So those validators, what happened if they identifies to be bad? Then they are going to get a penalties. Basically, like the validators, they need to put some of the dot there, and then those dot can be taken away to the system, to the ecosystem, and then like you will just pay the price. So I think that's overall like the idea. So now let's take a look at another very important picture. So the Polkadot, they have their chain is called the relay chain. So this is their main chain. So each of the relay chain, the cool thing is, of the relay chain is it's actually a protocol in the layer 0 that you can add all kinds of chains, all kinds of blockchains to the system. So for example, like as we just explained the previous picture, this is just one blockchain, and then you can add this blockchain to the relay chain. And then the cool thing of that is each of the blockchain, it could have different structure. So you don't need to be the same as other chains. We call that parachain. That's how we call that parachain. So overall, like there could be 100 parachains in the system, and each of the parachain you can build your own. You have a lot of freedom. Like it could be a Ethereum, you will just build another Ethereum. It could be a big Bitcoin, you can build another Bitcoin. So you can have your freedom to do all kinds of things there. And then you just connect to this relay chain. And then what's a good thing about that is the relay chain will handle all of those security. So you don't need to worry about the security. It will also help you to build connections with other parachains. So let's say you have Ethereum and then you have a Bitcoin. Now if you add that as a parachain, the Ethereum and the Bitcoin, they can communicate. So especially the Ethereum parachain can talk to the relay chain. Relay chain can talk to the Bitcoin parachain. So that's a cool thing about the Polkadot ecosystem. So now let's just talk about do some comparisons, because Ethereum is really a very popular and very big blockchain right now. So I'm going to summarize and do some comparisons so that we can better understand the Polkadot. First of all, the architecture, like Ethereum, it's a single chain. Of course, Polkadot is also kind of single chain. You can see from here, like it also has a single chain, but it's multiple chain actually, because this relay chain, you can add all kinds of parachains. So ultimately, there would be like hundreds parachains. So you could imagine like the Polkadot it's kind of a big city, and each of the small town would be one chain, and then they can all move to this big city, and then the big city will handle the security, and it will handle the communication between those single chains. So that's a difference. Of course, Ethereum, they are going to upgrade to Ethereum 2.0, and from proof of work to proof of staking. That will be the same as Polkadot. However, there are still some difference. Ethereum 2, like their Ethereum 2.0, like the beacon chain is just like the main chain, and then they have the shards, and those shards would be just like the parachain. However, those shards, they must have the same state transaction function. So basically, they have to stay the same like state. So they have to be the same structure. The structure is the same. So one example could be like okay, Ethereum 2.0. I cannot add the Polkadot to the Ethereum 2.0 because you have to be the Ethereum type of structure. However, I can add the Ethereum 2.0 to the Polkadot because this Polkadot, it can handle each of the parachain. They can be different the structure. They have a lot of freedom. So that's a difference. So I think it's still like a Polkadot is still more powerful than the Ethereum. Interoperability. So interoperability is basically the unique feature of the Polkadot. So all the multiple chain in the Polkadot, they can still talk to each other. They can still communicate with each other. And then it's different than some other like single chains, right? Those single chains, they are just like a separate island and they cannot talk to others. There would be some like a bridge, of course, you can build, but there would be security issues there as well. So that's another topic. And then the governance and upgrade. So that's another big thing about the Polkadot. They are fully decentralized, and then you can vote. It's already like on chain, so that means you can vote on chain. You can do those governance vote. But Ethereum still is not on chain; it's still off chain. So that means people will need to discuss, and they probably will talk through the maybe GitHub, and then they have to merge. Then the upgrade will be more difficult for the Ethereum because the Ethereum 1.0 is proof of work. It's just like a Bitcoin. And then now if you want to convert that to the Ethereum 2.0 proof of stake, the upgrading will be difficult. You could imagine like if I have a computer and I'm right now doing the mining of Ethereum, I would not like the idea of Ethereum 2.0 because that means like my investment of my computer or the server, it's kind of wasted, right? So I cannot use that. So I probably would just say, no, I don't want to upgrade. So what happens if Ethereum upgrade to Ethereum 2.0? Then there would be a group of people, they will say, oh, I don't want to upgrade. I would just still use the previous data of the Ethereum. So the whole community will be separated into two parts. Like the one will support Ethereum 2.0, and there would be another group of community, they will still support Ethereum 1.0. So because it's decentralized, you cannot like force them to upgrade. So if I just don't upgrade my node, I would just stay in the Ethereum 1.0. So that's the issue of the proof of work. And so the Polkadot is designed as proof of stake, so they don't have this problem. And then the Ethereum has another problem, is a gas fee. So basically when there would be a lot of transactions, and then like the node will take some fees from those people. So let's say like, okay, I want my transaction to be processed first, and I would like to pay more fees. So I would just pay more gas fees, and then my transaction would be like processed before others, right? And then you could imagine this would be a disaster. Let's say there would be a new project, a new NFT project, let's say, and then like people will just try to get the NFT, so they want their like work to be processed first. They are going to pay the high fee, so that's why you will see the gas fee is kind of very high, especially when a lot of people are using the Ethereum. However, for the Polkadot, they don't use a gas fee, so there's no gas fee. It's kind of free. But you will imagine like, how about those parachains? There are only like hundreds of the parachain. Like, who is going to use that? Who is going to win that? They have designed the crowd known, so that's kind of very unique feature of the Polkadot. So the general idea, I probably will talk in another video, but the general idea is the people, they are going to get the support from other like other investors. They are going to contribute the dots and to support the project, and then the project with the most dots support will win the parachain. Then they can rent that. They can rent the parachain like for 2 years, for example, and then you can use that, and after 2 years you will do this crowd now again. And another thing is the nail. So Polkadot, you can imagine that's a nail 0, because on top of that you have the parachain. Each of the parachain will be nail 1, and just like Ethereum is nail 1. And on top of Ethereum, you can have other kind of applications that will be nail 2, nail 3, right? And the founders actually, they are kind of related. So the founder of Polkadot and is actually the co-founder of Ethereum as well, and is a CTO. So that's also another thing. Like I like the Polkadot. It's a CTO. That's kind of a technology part, right? So I would like to support. Proof of work and proof of stake. That's another thing. Like how the blockchain, like Polkadot right now is a proof of stake. Ethereum 1.0 is proof of work, but they are going to upgrade to the 2.0. That will be a proof of work. So overall, like that's a white paper. I just summarized that, and I would like to hear your thought. And if you have any other comments about the paper, or about any other white paper you want, you don't want to read, but you want to know the general idea, leave a comment, and I probably will take the time and read them, and then make a video and summarize those white papers. So this would be a very interesting learning experience. And again, like, if you are new to this channel, this is a channel for the Web3 education, the investment. This is Dr. Kao, and please feel free to subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. And I would be happy to hear your comments. Thanks for watching.